No true crime story is more enigmatic and sinister, or fictional, than that of Kazuko Fukuda, an enigmatic woman known as the Killer with Seven Faces. The cunning Kazuko, who had always been good at not being caught, had betrayed many, built bloodied trails across miles, and escaped justice for decades. But how did she turn herself into Japan's most notorious female killer? It was desperation, a twisted instinct of survival, or something far darker that was laying just beneath her skin. The first big break in a criminal investigation is usually identifying the victim. The case can at times be solved if the identity of the perpetrator is also uncovered. When a criminal goes to such lengths to hide their identity, though, what's the procedure? It was the case of Japan's seven-faced murderer, the first person to have his head on a bounty in the country's history. Here is the chilling story of criminal Kazuko Fukuda, who changed identities to escape justice. A woman's body was unearthed and buried on a mountain in the Japanese city of Matsuyama in 1982. The only marks visible on her had been those on her neck, which an official stated was the result of strangling. The woman's belongings were missing, which police quickly classified as a robbery, murder, and abandonment case. Because of things, it was relatively easy to identify the victim. She was buried near her home. Her was like a high hostess at a local bar, and her death shocked the community. After extensive questioning of her family, friends, and co-workers, however, early investigations turned up no leads. A breakthrough came when the victim's father reported suspicious activity in her bank account. Someone had attempted to withdraw money, an alarming detail given her death. Simultaneously, the victim's lover alerted authorities to missing items from their shared residence. These developments prompted the police to dig deeper into the case. A crucial clue surfaced when apartment staff reported seeing 3 men and a woman loading furniture into a rental truck. The police traced the vehicle using its license plate and tracked the rental records to a specific name. Armed with this information, they visited the renter's family home. At the residence, Kazuko Fukuda's husband greeted the authorities. During questioning, he shockingly confessed to burying the victim's body, but claimed he had done so under Kazuko's orders. Meanwhile, upon learning the police were on their way, Kazuko fled the scene using a taxi and a false identity, initiating her life on the run. Kazuko Fukuda was born on January 2, 1948 in Matama, Japan. That wasn't much of a childhood, riddled with instability. Her parents divorced, and her mother reportedly ran a brothel from their home, and her father was only seen for a little some time. Wherever Kazuko went, her mother moved there, before remarrying a fisherman. As a teenager, Kazuko suffered severe emotional turmoil. A classmate she fell in love with died in a car wreck. The tragedy of that shaped her. The abusive environment she lived in at home, coupled with this devastating loss, left her scarred emotionally. Kazuko ran away at 18 to try and escape a troubled life. Kazuko was imprisoned in 1966 for robbing the home of a high-ranking tax official. Kazuko became part of the infamous Matsuyama prison incident while serving her sentence, in which female inmates, among them Kazuko, were allegedly sexually assaulted by male prisoners paying bribes to the guards. The stress of this experience sapped from her already stressed mind. Kazuko served 2 years, and when released at the age of 20, she married her first husband, but only for 5 years. She remarried in 1974 and had 4 more children. Her penchant for luxury had finally gone out of control, but it seemed she had actually found stability. Yet, Kazuko lived beyond her means, opting instead to live far away from home. Then, she splurged on expensive clothes, handbags, and fine things, dressing as a woman of prosperity. But it was leading to crippling debts of over 2 million yen. Kazuko was desperate to put up an appearance, so she became a cabaret hostess taking the name Hatsumi Takai. She got into relationships with wealthy clients there in the hopes of scoring some financial support. But her luck, meanwhile, ran out, and she only worsened her financial troubles. Kazuko's jealousy reached a boiling point when a new hostess, Atsuko Yoka, joined the cabaret. Atsuko's elegance, charm, and popularity with clients quickly made her the #1 hostess. Watching Atsuko thrive while her own life crumbled drove Kazuko into a spiral of envy. On August 19, 1982, Kazuko invited Atsuko to spend time together, pretending to seek advice on succeeding as a hostess. Atsuko agreed, unaware of the danger. At some point during the visit, Kazuko snapped, strangling Atsuko with a towel in a fit of rage and envy. Kazuko confessed the crime to her husband and convinced him to help steal Atsuko's belongings, claiming it would solve their financial problems. They even enlisted a relative to rent a truck to move the evidence, setting the stage for Kazuko's elaborate scheme to erase her crime. It was the start of Kazuko Fukuda's life on the run, changing her identity to try and escape capture. But in 1997, her audacious life on the run came to a crashing end when she was finally caught after years of going to ground. She wore various disguises, adopted several aliases, and was particularly evasive so she wouldn't be recognized, doing so before her arrest. With the benefit of 10 years' worth of intensive national search, including media attention, she managed to stay undetected long enough to evade capture. At the time of her arrest, Yukiko Nakamura was known by the name Kazuko. Living in a routine life in an Oden restaurant, her dirty past was well hidden. Her calm demeanor conned no one into thinking there was anything unusual, and regular patrons saw nothing. But her voice, heard once in a television program about her case, ended her when a diligent customer picked it. Kazuko's use of cosmetic surgery to change her appearance was probably the most remarkable aspect of her life on the run. She was already undergoing at least 7 surgeries over the years, changing her facial features immensely. It not only allowed her to avoid detection, but it also helped her to transform into entirely new, completely different personas. Plastic surgery was really an investment made for her specifically to take advantage of Japan's fairly limited resources for biometrics at the time. The police found that they were behind the times with her and ability to change her appearance. Kazuko had a new identity to start over with, and like the various sake, she assimilated into new communities without undue fuss. While Kazuko had a criminal past, during her years on the run, the life was anything but low profile. She started dating, and once started a romantic relationship that led to her lover divorcing his wife for her. To those around her, she appeared to be a dedicated partner and an ordinary woman striving to build a life. Not even Kazuko could have gone as far as introducing her son as a child of a relative to keep up her anonymity. Police launched an unprecedented public campaign to capture her. Public interest in the case rebounded when journalists placed a combined 1 million yen bounty on her head. It provoked renewed questioning of her movements and greater presence on the streets of Slovakia's citizens. The breakthrough arrived when a regular customer at the Oden restaurant where she often ate at recognized her voice from the televised show. After her capture, this customer impressed the authorities and helped, which led to her capture. Kazuko was careful, and the police discovered they got their fingerprints from items she had touched at the restaurant when using a very, very clever strategy. Kazuko's arrest closed a dark chapter, but the mystery and caution it engendered still draws the puzzled yet admiring crowd. As Japan reflects on the case, it serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to the persistence required to uphold justice, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Subscribe and comment.